I'm not gonna lie, when I started watching the show, I was skeptical, but truth be told, I loved it. That being said, this is a recap of the first season of Truth Be Told. Alright, let's go! Start the story off with our main character Poppy, who I'm going to refer to as Pop. Pop is married to this lawyer by the name of Ingram, and has two sisters, Desiree and Sadie, along with her father, Shreve. She also has this ex-boyfriend by the name of Marcus. The story really starts in the year 2000. A man by the name of Chuck Berman was murdered in his own house. Now Chuck had two twin daughters, Josie and Lainey, and his wife Erin, who is either a really bad mother or a really good one. It's kind of blurry. Anyways, you have this kid by the name of Warren Cave who hangs out with the twins and is in love with Lainey. Now for some odd reason, because he's in love with Lainey, he breaks into their house over and over again to read her diary. Now while doing this, he catches his mother, Melanie Cave, having an affair with Chuck Berman. Being the good son he is, he tells his father that, and his father practically ignores him. And have Lainey, who I'm going to refer to as Lainey the Psycho, because this girl is downright cold-blooded. Here's why. Lainey the Psycho wants attention so badly that she wrote in her diary that her father has been sexually assaulting her.
What?
This lie wouldn't have been that bad except she wrote it for the sole purpose of her twin sister seeing it and then distancing herself from their father, just so her sister can only depend on her. Let's just say Lainey really loves her sister Josie. When Josie sees what Lainey wrote in the diary, she gets mad at her father and in a fit of rage she kills him. Both Lainey and her mother watch this happen. This is why I say Erin is either a really terrible mother or a really good one, because as I assume any mother would do, she helps her daughters cover up the fact that they murdered their father, gets Josie and Lainey the Psycho to hide the murder weapon so she doesn't know where it is, and then calls the police, which happens to be Warren Cave's father, Owen Cave. But before Owen gets to the crime scene, he accidentally runs over this kid by the name of Trey J, and that only happens because an hour earlier his wife called him telling him that she's gonna leave him. When Owen gets there, Lainey tells him that she saw Warren climbing over the fence with a knife in his hand. Owen, with the previous knowledge of his son knowing that his mother is having an affair and Warren's fingerprints all over the house, arrests his own son for the murder of Chuck Berman, which also ends the marriage between Melanie and Owen Cave. And that's where Poppy comes in. You see, following Warren Cave's arrest, Pop wrote a series of articles that portray Warren Cave as a monster and got him tried as an adult, and he ended up getting life in prison. We then fast forward to the present, which is about 19 years later, where Pop is unable to sleep because she's having nightmares about wrongfully imprisoning Warren Cave, and it doesn't help that her podcast took off because of that story that she wrote on Warren Cave. On that podcast, she decides to investigate what really happened with Chuck Berman, and to do so she enlists the help of her best friend Noah and her ex-boyfriend Marcus. During that investigation, she discovers a number of things, including the fact that Melanie now has breast cancer and has about 2 months to live, and her son Warren, who has been in prison for 19 years, been with a really terrible crowd in order to survive. She also found out that Owen was missing for an hour during the time of the murder. Using that knowledge, she blows Owen's life up on her podcast. She pushes Owen over the edge because he wishes his son was really guilty so he didn't put the wrong person in prison. But since what Pop said on her podcast blew his life up, he goes over to her house with a gun claiming that his son really is the murderer, and then he pops his own head off. Anyways, while all that's happening, Lainey the Psycho has been doing everything in her power to get her sister Josie to stay with her. But Josie doesn't really want to because when they were kids, Lainey tried to murder her, and Josie also lost the memories of killing her own father. But like any good investigation, it comes at the price of a family.
There's always room for family.
Because Pop outed Owen Cave, Owen gets her sister Sadie arrested, you know, before he pops himself.
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, because of that and a couple of their misdeeds from Pop, both her sisters and her father kinda don't like her, and she finds out that her father has CTE. To make matters worse, she's been terrible to her husband Ingram, so they've been fighting non-stop. But the case further progresses thanks to Marcus, who buys Lainey the Psycho's diary, which was put up for sale by their mother Erin. Pop then turns her eyes to Erin as the murderer, but before she can interview her, Erin was found dead the next morning and the police are claiming that it's a suicide. But what really happened was that Lainey the Psycho killed her own mother after finding out that her mother was gonna talk to Pop, so I guess you could say she had to pop her a few pills. With the death of Erin, Poppy, Noah, and Marcus realize that Lainey is the real killer, and with the help of Josie, find the murder weapon, and Josie gets her memories back, revealing that she's the one who actually killed her father. With that knowledge, Pop cooks up the story saying that Erin is actually the one who killed Chuck Berman after finding out that he was cheating on her with Melanie, and that she also coached Lainey the Psycho to say that it was Warren Cave in order to punish the whole family. The police then release Warren, who barely survived prison, after the twins confessed to the police that their mother was actually the one who killed their father. Josie, not wanting Lainey the Psycho to roam free, calls the cops on Lainey, revealing that she's the one who actually killed their mother, and that it wasn't a suicide. Marcus then reveals to Pop that he messed up and he still loves her, and he knows that it's too late and he wouldn't do anything to mess up the marriage between her and Ingram. With that, Pop tells Marcus that her and Ingram are moving away back to New York. You then have Warren finally with his mother after 19 years of wrongful imprisonment. And yeah, that's it.
If you enjoyed that video and want to see more like it, leave a like and subscribe. Adios.